After 27 days since the Cowboys reported for training camp in Oxnard, California, they are back home at the Star in Frisco. Inside Ford Center, it is Cowboys night, as the Cowboys are welcomed home by a number of fans that have made their way inside Ford Center. And welcome to Cowboys Night here on TXA 21 and DallasCowboys.com and all the mobile apps. Bill Jones with Mickey Spagnola and the Hall of Famer. We've got Drew Pearson in the house for Cowboys Night. Yes. Welcome, Drew.
Yes, welcome.
There it is.
I've been wearing this ever since I got inducted.
Just in case you don't know, right?
Right.
Drew Pearson in the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
But it's great to have you here, and a belated congratulations. I know, and we'll get to the practice here in a moment, but let's start talking Hall of Fame and what a weekend it was for Drew. And I imagine you've been rather busy here the last couple of weeks, huh?
Yeah, I certainly have, and I guess this comes with that kind of recognition for the Hall of Fame. But, yeah, kind of busy doing a lot of things on behalf of the Hall of Fame, going around promoting the vaccine and people getting vaccinated, and then going up there for that weekend of celebration. It was just unbelievable. You're a VIP the whole weekend. I almost didn't want to leave. They had to tell me to get out of here, Pearson.
So did anything that took place the time you were up there sort of surprise you that, oh, wow, or did you get any of those moments?
That gold jacket moment was pretty special, because when we went out there, each and every gold jacket guy in the class went out there to get their jacket. When they came back, us in the green room, we gave them a standing ovation. So when I went out, I was looking for that standing ovation when I got back. And you're getting standing ovation from Peyton Manning and Johnson and other guys like that, and that's pretty cool. So that made you feel like now you're part of this class, and now you're part of the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Well, let's take a look at what's going on the field here, as we are here for the next couple of hours, bringing you live coverage of Cowboys Night here, as Cowboys have just made it onto the field. They're doing their team stretching right now, and that gold jacket night in Canton, that was on Friday night. Of course, the Cowboys played the Steelers on Thursday night that weekend. Jimmy and Cliff go into the Hall of Fame on Saturday, and then Drew had his big night on Sunday. And I want to get more and more into that. But how about we get an update on the guy in the red jersey right there, number 4, to get us started. Mike McCarthy just had his press conference, and ever since day one of training camp, all eyes have been on Dak Prescott for a different reason than why all eyes have been on him since July 28th when he left the first padded practice with that strained lat muscle. Things are progressing well, it sounds like, Mickey.
Yes, Mike McCarthy, absolutely, that was the first question he answered, and he said Dak will be limited. They biggest thing was to basically stay on course, and their course is a plan of caution. He said that, they want him to keep throwing, but they just want to ramp him up. So he said also it's not as much about him throwing as it practicing with the people around him. So that's a good thing. And one key thing I thought he said is if he doesn't get into the preseason game this Saturday against Houston at AT&T Stadium, then he's not playing in the 4th game. They just don't think that the risk is worth the reward. That the urgency from his perspective is not to play against Houston.
And probably what also plays a part in that, of course, with the last preseason game being on a Sunday, 2 weeks away from the first Sunday, but the Cowboys, of course, play on a Thursday, and so it's almost like it is in past years, where the amount of time between the last preseason game and the first regular season game, you don't normally play the starters, and it looks like the Cowboys will be treating it that way, as will probably Tampa Bay, as far as Tom Brady's concerned.
No, absolutely, and he pointed out that 4th game basically is for the young guys. It's their last chance to make an impression on the coaching staff. So when you were in preseason your rookie year, did you play 6 games?
Yeah, 6 games. We were talking about that earlier. And we played all of those games. In the first game, you played maybe a quarter, a few plays, but you gradually, all the way up to the 6th game, you're playing 3 quarters. Coach Landry wanted us to get that feel of playing a half, going into the locker room, making some adjustments, and coming back out there on the field. So Coach Landry was, didn't let anything get pass us by. Excuse me. He had everything covered, including going through the preseason game. But you know what? It was a natural thing to do. I wanted to play preseason. I wanted to get knocked around, so I'm ready for the rigors of the regular season when you're between those lines and you're playing NFL football and getting hit like you're supposed to get hit. So you got to be able to be in shape to take that contact. But it's a different game now as far as the approach that these guys have and going through training camp. But you talked about Dak. I see him moving around out here pretty well. Everybody's talking about his arm. I think that'll be okay, but we're not saying anything about his legs or his movement or anything like that, and I think that's the big thing. The other thing I noticed is, man, he's a big dude, man. We didn't have quarterback. He'd be playing offensive line if he played with us.
And you realize he lost a little weight
Is that right?
going into this season.
Yeah.
But you're right. It's almost been taken for granted that the ankle's good. You know, and we've seen him move around, and that hasn't been a problem. And you know what? And according to him, if this was the regular season coming up Sunday or Saturday, whenever, he said, I'm playing.
Yeah.
So but they just want to make sure he doesn't do anything to irritate the muscle. That's basically what he strained is underneath his right armpit. So it's a muscle on your back that goes up into your arm. And that's what he strained. And
you had some information, Mickey, on exactly how he did it, right?
Yeah, and it wasn't from overthrowing. It was basically one throw. Mm-hmm. He threw it from a weird arm slot, and it was a deep ball, and he didn't have his feet set, so it was all arm, and that's what caused it. And it really was caused the day before, the practice before they went out, and he basically, smart of him, because you know he's pretty hard-headed and pretty competitive. He went to the Cowboys trainer, Jim Maurer, and said, you know, it's just not loosening up. And as soon as Maurer said that, he goes, okay, you're not throwing. Right? And then, and I think we saw that on Hard Knocks with MacArthur's reaction was like, are you kidding me? Just like that, you know, we're not going to go through this again. So they're just being very, very cautious, but you can see he's having no problems throwing the football. And each day at the end of camp that they practiced, there was more velocity on the ball day after day after day. And I think if anybody got a chance to watch the pregame show Friday from Arizona, they saw him throwing before the game, and he was throwing awfully well.
And, well, we've got the Hall of Fame wide receiver here for the first 20 minutes or so of the show. How about we talk about these Cowboys wide receivers? And it's pretty nice when all those guys are healthy for Dak Prescott, isn't it, Drew?
It certainly is. And what a group they have, you know. We know about the big three or the original three or the first three with CeeDee and Gallup and Cooper. But, you know, you add Noah Brown and Cedric Wilson to that mix. You know, that's a good group of receivers. Then you mix them in with the tight ends that we have, our passing game, and then the offensive line is healthy now. And they're, you know, Zach Martin and Tyron Smith missed some games last year. They're back healthy. So our offense should be right on. And a big focal point of our offense to loosen things up should be the passing game and then resort to that running game and have those big offensive linemen, you know, maul them out and eat up some clock. Control the tempo of the game, control the time of possession, and put some points on the board.
You know, Drew was talking about those wide receivers at the top of the depth chart. An injury that came out of Friday night's game, though, Malik Turner with a turf toe. And of course, they've got the fifth-round draft pick, Simi Fehoko, who showed a little more in the game against Arizona. What are you thinking, Mickey, as far as that battle for one of the last spots on the roster?
Yeah, I think it's a real battle. By the way, I think that, you know, they like what Noah Brown does. They like what Cedric Wilson does. Now, are those the five, or can you keep six? Because Fehoko does show up. Malik Turner did show up in the practices. Nice catch in the preseason game. I know he had the fumble, but yeah, it's going to be. They're going to have to make a tough decision there with these wide receivers. As for Amari Cooper, Mike said in the press conference just a little while ago that he's ready to go, along with DeMarcus Lawrence. So they should, I haven't searched the field yet, but they should probably be in pads. I don't know how much they might use them But he said they're ready to go, and they feel confident they'll be ready for the season opener.
There's the 88 right there. Hey, that 88's a pretty good number, isn't it there, Drew?
It certainly is, and he's looking good wearing it. I tell you that, man. I've been hearing a lot of great things coming out of training camp about CeeDee, and that's what I want to hear. He's got to take his game to the next level. He's got to work on the routes, getting off the line of scrimmage. Offensive coordinators, defensive secondary coaches have had a whole offseason and everything to study him, every movement that he's made. So he's got to adjust his game and take it to the next level.
You know, Drew, it seemed like every day in training camp he would make this catch that make you go, "You're kidding me?" Are you serious? And one of the last practices, they threw him a fade in the back of the end zone. He goes up, he's running out of room, and he catches it one-handed, comes down, and gets his feet in bounds.
Nice.
So,
that's 88. That comes natural when you wear that number.
The ball just comes to you, right?
Yeah, you just make those plays. He's going to be okay. I like his style and what he's can bring to the offense.
Somebody was telling me, they asked me, what do you think his best quality? And I said, well, besides his speed, besides his route running, his catch radius is amazing. I said, Michael Irvin was really good, but Troy Aikman split those eights the majority of the time.
Accurate.
This guy's catching it over his head, wide, low. He's just amazing how he can catch the ball. And you know how you can judge that, too? He's going to return punts, by the way.
Oh, right.
And I watched the guys field punts, and they're shooting them off the jugs machine. He sits there, his feet are still, they're quiet, right? Mm-hmm. And he just has this ability to know where the ball's going to land. It's just amazing how easily he can catch a punt.
Drew, you returned punts in your day.
Yeah, my rookie year, that's how I made the team, actually, on special teams, returning punts, returning kickoffs. And believe it or not, I was on the kickoff coverage team. All right, I didn't last long. They found out I was over there. No, here comes the wedge each and every time. So sometimes as a rookie, that's how you make your mark to make the roster, like some of these guys have to understand out here tonight.
Do you remember the other Hall of Fame 88 for the Cowboys being on the kickoff coverage team?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
They just wanted to make sure Michael Irvin was dressed and on the field in time to go, right?
Right. And they better not have CeeDee on that kickoff coverage team.
That's right.
So you mentioned you played 6 preseason games. Did you have an inkling that at some point you made the team before they actually told you?
No.
No?
None whatsoever. Even though I was making plays throughout that preseason, and the philosophy was live to play another day, do something to catch a coach's eye so that you're there another day. And I made plays throughout the preseason, but you never felt secure. As a matter of fact, when the cutdown came, I was released by the Cowboys. I was put on waivers, and the Chicago Bears claimed me.
Yeah, I had not heard that.
And the Cowboys had 24 hours to recall me. Check it out with Gil Brandt.
Well, yeah. I had not heard that until I watched Deep Blue Catching Hail prior to the game on Friday night. What a tremendous documentary you got to see. There's so much great stuff about Drew Pearson and his career there. But, yeah, I had forgotten or didn't realize that you had actually gotten cut and then re-signed by the Cowboys.
Yeah, you're talking about playing with Hall of Fame quarterback Roger Staubach or Bobby Douglas. Okay, what would you rather do?
And,
Bobby.
And then the other guy on the other side, only Bob Hayes, right?
Oh, right, yeah. Amen.
They were probably looking at you going, well, I don't know, Bob Hayes, Drew Pearson.
Yeah. I mean, I couldn't believe I'm in the huddle with a guy like Bob Hayes. Okay, and. You just didn't want to mess up in those kind of situations.
I want to ask you about Catching Hail, the Deep Blue documentary, which, by the way, you can watch on the Dallas Cowboys YouTube channel as well as Dallas Cowboys Connected TV app and DallasCowboys.com/Deep Blue. Just watching that and sort of seeing the story of your life, the story of your career like that. How was that for you?
Yeah, pretty cool, actually. At my age and some of my memory being tested most of the time, it brought back some good memories, and I said, I did that or that happened and stuff like that. But no, it's nice to be able to document something and document your life. Now, this is something that could always be there. My kids, my grandkids, their grandkids can always have that there about their granddad or their dad. So I appreciate the Cowboys doing that. And they did it such an in-depth way. They went to Jersey. They interviewed my sister and got my kids involved in it. So it was all good. I appreciate them doing that.
Yeah, I'm sure there were some of your favorite stories in there too, right?
Well, there's a few I couldn't tell.
Yeah.
Those are on the outtakes, okay? We'll do a whole nother story. That's for cable. That ain't ready for regular TV.
This guy's had a couple great weeks, right? He has a hour documentary on himself, Hall of Fame. I don't know. That head's going to start getting big.
I don't know.
Oh, speaking of that.
Yes.
Okay, the bus. Were you pleased with the fro?
Absolutely. I was really pleased. I went to Granbury, Texas to visit with Scott Mars, who does the bus. I'm his 25th bus that he's done. And first thing I wanted to know is about the afro. And he unveiled it and said, bam, there it was. And I said, you sure that's big enough? He said, Drew, it's 19 inches. I said, how come only 19 inches? He says, well, that's all the hall's going to let you have. We got to have room for the other bus.
I'll tell you what, there's a couple big heads in that hall.
Oh, my
I noticed.
goodness, without afro.
Without the afro.
Right.
Right? So you were telling me the story before we went on the air that they actually give you a replica of the bus.
Yeah.
Same size.
Same size, same weight and everything. It looks just the same. And I got it yesterday, visited with Scott Myers and picked it up. And I'm cradling that thing. He's cradling it like it's a baby. I mean, it's like prized possession. And I was hoping I'd get stopped on the way home for speeding or something. I'm going to pull that bus out for the officer. Let's take some pictures, man. I'm sure I would have beat that speeding ticket.
I hear the horn. We're going to move on to the next segment. We got to take a break here. And Mickey and Drew, appreciate you kicking us off here on Cowboys Night. We can't let you go, Drew, without a hut. Okay?
Oh, got to have
send
that.
us to break with a hut. All right?
On three. 1, 2, 3. Hut.
Cowboys Night continues in a moment. Cowboys Night Training Camp 2021 presented by American Airlines continues from Ford Center here at the Star in Frisco. As you heard from Mickey Spagnola in our first segment, Amari Cooper has a go-ahead. Continue on. Things are looking well for Amari in his return from his off-season rehab. And Zeke Elliott and the Cowboys. This is a practice that will go until beyond 7:30. We're on the air till 8 o'clock. Bill Jones now joined by Dave Hellman and Kyle Yeomans from DallasCowboys.com. And we had a Hall of Famer sitting where you are right now, Kyle, so you've got a tough act to follow.
Yeah, I don't think I'll ever follow that act like Drew Pearson. Yeah, this chair, just because it's here doesn't mean I can fill it the right way. So
there you go.
All right. Saying.
As the team returns here in front of fans here at Ford Center, Dave, what is it that you are looking for in tonight's practice?
You know, I mean, you teed it up really nicely there, Bill. We got some Pro Bowl caliber guys back on the field tonight. I mean, Amari Cooper's participating, not a Pro Bowler, but I think a name that a lot of people are interested in is Malik Hooker, who, they signed him right at the outset of camp. He is finally in pads. Looks like he's, going to do something. Probably not a lot, but, these are guys, obviously Amari, these are guys that could make a big impact that are kind of starting to round into shape. That's exciting.
Well, you also think about DeMarcus Lawrence getting out there, and even though he probably won't go through the team drills, and you get to see at least a little bit of him getting back into the groove without guys like Amari Cooper and DeMarcus Lawrence to kind of mix into kind of the team drills and stuff. A lot of these guys are missing out on opportunities to learn, especially the younger groups, the younger cores of some of those positions. So I think having Hooker into the mix, having DeMarcus Lawrence at least participating and not off to the side doing trainers stuff, I think is going to help out a lot.
Let's talk about those DBs a little bit as we look at them here. And, it's going to be very interesting to see how things shake out and really how long it will take for Hooker to get up to top speed. It was the amazing thing with DeMonte Casey coming off a similar injury about the same point of last season and how he was running around right from the get-go of training camp.
I don't know if I've ever been more impressed by a guy's recovery. I mean, Achilles that's a rough injury for anybody, let alone a guy who spends all of his time backpedaling. And for DeMonte to be back in time for OTAs and fully ready for all of that and roll right into camp, I can't say enough about it. But, man, I I don't think there's a position group on this team that's harder to figure out than the DBs, to be honest with you. I mean, you can put the offense together, no sweat. Piece of cake, got it, not worried about it. Defensive line is a little bit complicated, especially with some of the injuries they're dealing with right now, but this DB room looks like a free-for-all. Because now you add in Malik Hooker, who's a former first-round pick, to go with DeMonte Casey, who's the guy that Dan Quinn brought in from Atlanta. Oh, by the way, you drafted 2 cornerbacks. Oh, by the way, you've got draft picks like Israel Mukuamu fighting for playing time.
By the way, Donovan Wilson, who's shown in his career already.
How about a guy that nobody was talking about in July, Maurice Kennedy, showing up and making the most of his opportunity, looking like a guy who could push for starting time right now. And I can't make heads or tails of it. I don't know who you keep and who you get rid of and how you make it all make sense.
Well, and it also depends on how many guys you want to keep around. You would think about 10 DBs in general, and that includes both the corners and the safety position. Are you going to keep 6 corners, 7 corners, and then go with either 4 or 5 safeties? And I think that's the question that Dan Quinn is going to have to answer with his staff over the next couple of weeks as we get closer to the season start. I don't see a way that you could keep anything less than 7 corners and not have to make really tough decisions.
This whole time I'm like, well, maybe they keep 11 DBs and just make it easier on themselves. But again,
then you have to sacrifice from another area on the road.
It's a jigsaw puzzle that I don't envy them for having to figure out.
As we look at number 6, Donovan Wilson right there, when you go back and look at his career at Texas A&M, I'm not sure why he lasted all the way to the 6th round of the draft. Maybe it was his 40 time, I'm trying to remember. He may not even given him a 40 time. I think he was hurt, and I don't recall exactly. But if you go look at his career and how dynamic he was as a player at Texas A&M, and he has been that early on when he's gotten the opportunity here in the NFL.
Which, I think you can kind of compare that to Malik Hooker, and I think I can answer that. I'm not dogging Donovan, but this is such a pass-happy league. It is such a coverage game. You need the instincts and the athleticism and the ability to make plays in space. Malik Hooker was an absolutely phenomenal coverage safety, and that's why he went in the top 15. I think people took a look at Donovan Wilson and they said, can he cover at the next level? Can he cover that much ground, or is he really more of a thumper? And unfortunately for him, that style of safety tends to get devalued. But, man, you put him on a field and he'll show you what he can do.
Well, you wonder, because we've seen it with Dan Quinn, with Keanu Neal, with Kearse coming in here too, those hybrid guys who came into the league as safeties or are now linebackers, and you wonder if Donovan Wilson will grow into that same type of player eventually in this league in Dan Quinn's defense.
Well, and a lot of what he did last year kind of went back and forth between being in the box and then being at that coverage over the top center field sort of safety, and that's a part of his game I feel like isn't added on to enough, or isn't, I guess, valued enough. Like you said, coming out of college, he really was going to be a box safety, and it seemed like he was pigeonholed into that role. Well, we showed last year that mostly out of necessity, he could play both in the box and outside of it just as well, and also in coverage.
See, I think, and I don't completely disagree with you, but I still do think his style is suited more to be down by the line of scrimmage.
I agree.
Like,
I'm not put him as a as a
I'm not
free
trying
safety.
to drop Donovan into center field if I don't have to. And that's what makes this so interesting is, man, and we haven't seen him practice yet. I try not to get too hyped, but Malik Hooker's college tape is fun, man.
It's unbelievable.
And it's been injuries more than anything that have slowed him down in the NFL. And if he can be that guy and pair a guy with that coverage ability with a playmaker like Donovan Wilson, who doesn't have to be as responsible in coverage, that's really exciting to think about.
Well, and the exciting thing is to think about if you can get some guys in that secondary or on the entire defense who can come up with takeaways. We saw it in the first series of the game last week with Keanu Neal and Micah Parsons standing up at tight end and the ball being ripped out. Parsons lucked into a fumble recovery the first week against the Steelers, but he still was there. That's right. That's right.
And there were an opening drive setting the tone.
Yeah,
very nice.
And you look at Casey in his career with 7 picks to lead the league in his second year in the league back in 2017. Diggs has shown the ability to pick off passes.
This is
what they need to find back there.
This is as good as I have felt about the defense's potential for takeaways in a long time. I say potential because I'm not giving you credit for something that you haven't done, but there are guys on this team who have done it and done it at a high level.
I feel like it scares me a little bit, the fact that you do go out, and I know it's preseason, but you have a couple early turnovers, and after that it's really nothing from a turnover perspective. Maybe that's just a point of depth on the defensive side of the football, or maybe those starters are just that prone to take away the football that maybe that's what you need going forward.
That is really interesting because, and you know, the quickest way to get noticed as a down the roster guy is to get a takeaway. You know, Donovan Wilson jumped onto the radar 2 years ago because he got takeaways in the preseason. So it would be fun, I agree, to see some of these younger guys doing that, but it's even more fun that the starters are doing it in the time that they're getting, because you're saying, hey, the guys that are going to be playing on Sundays are the ones making the plays right now.
Okay, as we focus in on number 11 there, he has been very impressive in training camp.
Hasn't he? Mm-hmm. I mean, I'll keep saying it. And again, he hasn't played, but I wasn't convinced. I was not convinced that was the right idea.
Yeah, where were you when the draft took?
Me and Kyle were sitting right next to each other, and we were like, man, Micah's talented, but that Rashawn Slater out of Northwestern is a hell of an offensive lineman. And
apparently he's showing it early.
Which he is. I mean, these are conversations that play out over the course of years. But I will say I have been so impressed by everything Micah Parsons has done since he got to the star. I mean, OTAs, he was impressive. He was versatile. Like, all right, let's see what it looks like when the pads go on. Well, still a badass. Let's see what it looks like in the preseason. Check, check, check every step of the way.
I really think we undervalued, and I'm not even just saying Dave and I, but I think just a draft media in general, and even really scouts around the NFL, letting Micah Parsons fall to 12, the kind of versatility and the kind of options he can give to a defense, because he can do so many things, not just do them, but do them exceptionally well because of his athleticism, because of his knowledge of the game. That's one thing that has really impressed me throughout the time in Oxnard, was the fact that Dan Quinn was throwing different things at him almost every single practice. And not only did he pick it up quickly, but he excelled at it quickly. And I think that's the most exciting part about Micah Parsons. As a rookie, sure, the athleticism was always there. It was there on the Penn State tape, and you didn't really have a worry, even though he opted out of the 2020 season. It's the fact he's been able to pick things up so quickly that really makes things exciting with him.
And that's a great point, Kyle, which is it was never about Parsons' ability.
Sure.
It's positional value. When you're talking that high in the draft, are you getting your bang for the buck? And we said in our draft coverage, like, the way that this makes sense is if he's doing a lot more than just tackling people, playing off-ball linebacker. He needs to be.
That was going to happen.
Absolutely. We were, it's hard to project a guy who didn't have a 2020 season, but he gets out here at training camp. He's blitzing. He's coming off the edge. He's getting sacks. He's intercepting the ball. He's forcing fumbles. He is doing the things that make you worth being that high of a draft pick, and it's been fun to watch.
And the other part of it is, from a mental standpoint, a lot of times with a rookie, you don't want to throw that much at him, and they're throwing a lot at him, and he seems to be able to handle it mentally.
He's calling the defense right now. I mean, not all the time, but they are letting him do that, which I wouldn't have believed. And that, not a knock on him, but you have Leighton Vander Esch here. You have Jalen Smith. You have these guys that have been around for 4 or 5 years. I would have assumed they'd be doing it, but there's the rookie.
You know why they have him doing it? Because they plan on having him on the field every single chance they have. Every snap of the football, he's going to be on the field, whether it's rushing the passer as an edge rusher or as a linebacker or however you're going to line him up.
And I think the addition of Parsons, and we're talking about the competition and taking away calling the defense there, it also adds pressure to those two guys, Jalen Smith and Leighton Vander Esch, at the same time, because, hey, even though those responsibilities are taken away, doesn't mean that they still can't hold a big part of this defense. Micah Parsons is thrown into the mix. It really ups the competition for 9 and 55 as well.
So 9 and 55. I've liked what I've seen out of 55 in training camp.
Yes.
Leighton Vander Esch, and he's talked about what he did in the offseason, working with a trainer, and he feels confident that he's going to have a healthy season. He feels as good as he's felt since his rookie season. And this defense needs him to be back playing at that same level where he made the Pro Bowl as a rookie.
Absolutely. But I will say, at the very least, it's encouraging, and that's, again, going back to what we were talking about a minute ago, it was never so much ability as availability. And at the very least, it's nice to know you have Micah Parsons and Keanu Neal as well. If you are faced with those kind of setbacks this year, I feel a lot more confident that they can handle it than they could have before.
I don't really know what it was, but it was really the first day in Oxnard. I got a chance to kind of walk right past Leighton Vander Esch as he was taking the field, and I just sense that he has that chip on his shoulder. I think he's not happy with the fact that he hasn't been available. He's had the health issues in the past, and of course, the opting out of the fifth-year option for him as a first-round draft pick, sure, it probably did put a chip on his shoulder. I think this is a guy who's out to prove something this year, and you've seen it already.
Yeah, you can tell when he's talking, he's not getting ahead of himself. I mean, it's Sean Lee coach speak, but and that's a good thing, because he had immediate success in the league, and you wanted him to be hanging around Sean Lee as much as possible, and it's rubbed off, I think.
Not a mean guy by any stretch, but a very business-oriented guy. And to hit the highs that he did as a rookie and know how it feels to be all-pro and, the whole stadium's howling like a wolf and all that fun stuff, to hit that high and then go through the bumps that he's gone through the last 2 years, I understand why he's so focused. I'm sure it's way more fun to play in this league when you're doing that.
And humility comes before honor, and maybe there'll be some honors for him this year. Okay, which brings us to Jalen. All right, just like at wide receiver, are there enough balls to go around for all the wide receivers on this team? Are there enough snaps to go around for what we're talking about they have at the linebackers position in Parsons, Vander Esch, Keanu Neal, Jalen Smith, Jabril Cox?
I think the fun thing about that is that if you can't find snaps for everybody, it means somebody's playing amazing. I mean, and I don't think Jalen has had a bad training camp. There's criticism in the game snaps. He got a lot of heat for the way a couple of the snaps against Arizona. I think we know who Jalen is at this point. At least I do. And I think a coach as experienced and smart as Dan Quinn can find a way to utilize all these guys. I am curious, Jalen played 98% of the snaps last year.
That's right.
Is that going to happen in 2021? I doubt it, unless something terrible happens to Micah Parsons or Leighton Vander Esch, which knock on wood. But I think, again, I said jigsaw puzzle earlier. I think you got to find the way all this stuff fits, and I would be surprised if any of the four of these guys play 98% of the snaps because of all the situational things you can do with them.
I think that's really going back to your initial point there about just because Jalen Smith won't see as much of the field as he has in the past doesn't mean it's bad for the Cowboys defense. If anything, it just means that other players are elevating their game.
That's good for the Cowboys.
Yeah, it's absolutely good for the Cowboys defense because you have guys like Leighton Vander Esch, Micah Parsons that are going to take snaps undoubtedly. I mean, that's already bar none. Those two guys alone will see more snaps than Jalen Smith probably throughout the majority of the season. However, you also have depth at that spot where you haven't had it in the past. I mean, Joe Thomas was your backup. Sean Lee, of course, was unavailable and available on and off throughout the last couple of years of his career. I think having guys like Keanu Neal and Jabril Cox and Luke Gifford, even if they keep him on for special teams reason, that's a better rotation at that spot than you've had in quite some time. And I think that's exciting for not only the Cowboys defense, but I think Jalen Smith should embrace that rotation because the linebacker spot's in better hands than it has been.
I think I'm sorry, Bill. It's good for the Cowboys and it's good for Jalen to see that share go down, I think, just because it means you're able to utilize everybody.
Okay, in our last minute and a half here with Kyle Yeomans and Dave Hellman as we see Osa Odigizua there with the injury to Neville Gallimore, which is a devastating injury. Apparently not as bad as what it looked when he came off the field and writhing in pain when you're looking at maybe 6 to 8 weeks. And it's such a long season. If all goes well on the rehab, it's an opportunity for Odigizua.
A huge opportunity. I think Osa's the closest thing to a true 3 technique available right now because Tristan Hill is out and now Neville's out as well. And so the Cowboys, their pro personnel guys are probably going through the league looking at their options. Do we need to bring somebody in? But if Osa has a nice 2 weeks of practice here, they might say, nah, we're good. This rookie can handle it.
And I think this is a good chance for him to show out and provide some of that extra pass rush. That was one of the things out of UCLA that this defense was excited about is not only can he stop the run, but he can rush the passer as well.
All right, and Randy Gregory out there, too. He did not make the trip to Arizona with the team, but he is out there.
Which it's weird to say about a guy who's missed so much time, but he's on that status where they're like, let's just get you to the season, big guy.
There you go. Get us to September 9th. I believe it's 23 days away. It's 27 days down, 23 days to go.
Wow.
We're past the halfway point of this preseason. All right, our thanks to Dave Hellman and Kyle Yeomans. And up next, I believe we've got Nick Eatman and Nate Newton. I might talk some offensive line when we come back here on Cowboys Night at the Star in Frisco. Cowboys Night Training Camp 2021 at Ford Center at the Star in Frisco. And looky here, the Cowboys offense huddled up. It's time to go offense versus defense here as Garrett Gilbert is in there at quarterback. We've seen Dak Prescott prior to getting into this team stuff here. Bill Jones with Nick Eatman and Nate Newton now joining us here as we actually get to see some O versus D here. And, there's a rude greeting there for Tyler Biotish, apparently, Dick Eatman.
Well, he's back in there at center. It's like, welcome back.
Welcome back.
He didn't start last game, but then they're letting him know.
Yeah. And by the way, the breaking news out of Mike McCarthy's press conference, the offensive line is set. I think we already knew it was set, but Connor Williams is your starting left guard, even though he didn't start at center as an experiment against the Cardinals the other day. Of course, with Tyron at left tackle, Connor Williams at left guard, Biotish at center, Zach Martin at right guard, and Lyle Collins at right tackle. And Nate just loves talking offensive linemen, don't you, Nate?
Yeah, and I'm glad that our experiment at the center position for Williams is over and through and done. I pray that it's over. It was too many valuable snaps between him and Gilbert the other night. Gilbert needs many snaps as he can, quality snaps, working with his receivers just in case Dak do miss a game or two right here. And those bobbles and all, you cannot have it. And I understand it's preseason, but the preseason has shown us that we need to find another backup center.
You're right. And what I'm a little bit confused by is why Tyler Biotish is just like it's set for him. Like he didn't even need the work the other night, and they gave it to Connor Williams. I mean, he hasn't played a lot of football either. So it's just kind of an interesting situation there. I've said it all off season. I don't like the depth at center. I don't like the inexperience there, and I think the Cowboys feel better about it than I do.
Maybe if Connor Williams had played at center and he was flawless with his snaps, maybe there would be competition there. And Connor McGovern then with competition at the guard position with Williams. Of course, Williams in his contract year, his fourth year in the league.
I understand all of that, but this team is locked and loaded on offense. And two positions we're talking about is key position. If we can't snap the ball, and if we're going to have delay of games, if we can't get the ball when we're in red zone, get it into the end zone by a bad snap or a quarterback holding the ball, it does not make any sense. I mean, not with a team that you say offensively is locked and loaded,
To me, I just wonder why it took so long to put him out there to try this out. I mean, this has been discussed since last year and all off season, and he really didn't get a lot of work, and it looks like it. I mean, I don't know, Nate. Maybe did he actually block well when the snap got back, or all we're talking about is a snap? But
he blocks okay at center, about the same as guard. He's a guy that's a serviceable NFL starting guy. He's not nothing spectacular, but he knows his job. He knows what to do, how to handle it. But I'm telling you, giving him something extra to snap that ball, that you don't do that.
Right.
You go out and you find you a rookie, or you look for you a backup center, because I'd rather, and I told you this off air, I'd rather have a center that get knocked back a little bit and may give ground, but every snap is perfect. Yeah. Every snap is like the long snapper we just got rid of. I can't
LP.
Look here, man. Don't you
pronounce LP?
Yeah, LP. I'm just saying. Once you leave, it's like the mob with me. Once you leave, I don't have to worry about pronouncing your name no more. But
you were just trying to get Tyron Smith down the other day.
What you mean?
You're like Tyrone Smith.
Hey, his name is Mr. Smith.
Okay.
That's his name is Mr. Smith.
Once you get past 6 Pro Bowls, which is what Nate has,
you're
Mr. Smith. He's got 7 Pro Bowls.
When you are trying to establish who you are, then okay, we know who the starters are. You went over that, Bill. But who are the backup? Now, when you don't have the key position of left tackle and center covered, you can be in trouble. You can be in for a long season. We cannot afford to have Tyler Biotish hurt. And I'm with you, Nick. We cannot say, okay, it's his job.
It should be a little bit of competition there, but it's not. So now we got 4 or 5 guys offensively that I feel we got an NBA season. We got to load management these guys. That's just how I feel about it.
Yeah.
The left tackle, the center, because there's no backup to those 2 guys.
Right.
Niski, 79. I mean, every time he get on the field, he falls down. I mean, he's a weebler and a wobbler, and he does fall down.
They also call him Inseki, but
Yeah,
that's okay.
so, well, you can call him whatever you want, but he's not impressed me.
No,
What is
he has-
Inseki?
Inseki.
Yeah, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, whatever you want to call number 79 at left tackle. He's not impressed me at all.
Well, and you know, they talked all season about Terrence Steele being stronger and getting a lot of these reps from last year and helping him here in year 2, and we're still kind of waiting for him to kind of turn the corner too.
His body looks different, but what is missing is confidence.
Yeah.
Confidence will breed strength in a man. But if you're still not sure how you're doing it and what you're doing, you don't be as confident. And what I want to say is Lyle Collins. Did I mess his name up?
No, you did
oh,
not.
yeah, evidently he making play. Okay, you said I don't mess up players' name. Lyle Collins is doing a hell of a job. He's not missing no snaps. He's played series after series in games. We needed to see that, and we got that.
I got ones against ones here. It's Garrett Gilbert at quarterback. If you look at the offensive line, and Gilbert downfield to a wide open Jeremy Sprinkle.
That's your boy, Nick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Arkansas Razorback
Yeah.
Jeremy Sprinkle.
You know what? Thing about me and difference between I played this game, but you would think that Nick has been a Cowboy fan all his life. Now we got a guy from Arkansas here that's doing well. He want to be nonchalant. That man is going to make this team, bro. You ain't excited?
Well, I mean, first of all, there's a bust on defense here. I don't know if he was just, you know.
Success is success.
No, he had a little bit of slow start to camp, and there's been a lot of injuries there. I don't think he's been playing better than McEwen.
But he can block.
He can block, and then that's the thing. That's why he's here. He doesn't have a lot of catches. He definitely can block. We're actually watching. We see him celebrating a touchdown to Blake Jarwin. It's good to have him back as well. It's going to be kind of interesting to see how they play that whole tight end position out. I think 4 tight ends would make this team, and they're going to use them as H-backs, maybe a fullback. But it'll be fun to see. But yeah, Sprinkle. You know, he was a guy in college, really good player. He played a lot with Hunter Henry, and so he's just been a blocking tight end for Washington, and that's probably what he'll be his role here.
Thank you.
3 receivers left, and in motion comes
Michael Gallup.
Michael
Get
Gallup.
more consistent. He's got to learn how to catch the small ball. Oh, they go Mr. Sexy. They go Mr. Sexy. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, now, Nick ain't excited about this cat like I am. You know what I'm saying? He's back. Zeke is back. Yes.
I'm excited about him. I'm excited about him now.
And you've been out there. You've seen him in training camp and everything.
Man got abs, man. I ain't seen this since his rookie year. He got a few abs, man. Come on, man.
I feel like I'm being the negative guy.
You're
only
not.
thing about Zeke is this all looks good. He's just going to have to hang on to the ball. That was his issue last year.
He'll hang on to it.
He'll
hang on
I'm
to
for it. I mean, but that's his thing.
He'll hang
I
on.
feel like that's like good cop, bad cop going on
No,
here.
no, it's not. No, Bill is the mediator.
Right.
That's
You're
right.
all right.
That's right.
I've always been the good cop. What's going on
Yeah,
here?
you all about moral victories. I'm about,
Yep,
you know.
that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to get us started on this one. This has gone on since the Pittsburgh game of last year. Moral victory debate. You don't want to open that up between me and Nate. I know that.
Yeah, yeah. You know, Bill, what has been so exciting about these practices is they've been so up-tempo, so much energy due to the fact they don't practice. They do a lot of walkthroughs. They do a lot of mental reps. I mean, true mental reps where they go on field and walk through. And then when they come to practice, it's upbeat. You see everybody with more energy, especially against the Rams.
You know, I don't know what it is about 88. 88 is obviously a baller number for receivers. But I don't know what Drew used to do. But the other 88s bring the level of intensity and practice up way high. Irvin, of course, did it. Dez did it because he competed so hard. And CeeDee did it very well because he was making a lot of plays. And when that happens, then the defense wants to get back, and then offense, and then it goes throughout the drill. So I think those guys are great receivers, but what they did, and kind of to your point, Nate, they've intensified practice with the way that they've gone out and played.
Antonio Bryant did it.
Yeah.
Yeah. He did it a little too bit.
Yeah,
too
he
much.
did it in different ways. He had some intensity in practice.
Yeah.
That's right.
You know, but I want to say this right here, man. I like that they got preseason games. At first, I was like, but I like that, man, because we getting to see Joseph, whereas last year we saw the other kid from Bama, you know, Diggs. Diggs had to take this thing under fire. Where we see here with the kid Joseph, he's learning on the run, and it ain't costing him nothing right now.
Right.
Yeah, so I'm excited, man. I can just talk by myself, man, all day.
You know what I like about Kelvin Joseph is that if you look at him, he looks like he could definitely be a safety,
Right.
borderline linebacker. And he, you know, he's a cornerback. Obviously, he's fluid with his hips and everything, but he's got some upper body strength here. And you know, of course, looking at him now here on the screen, he really doesn't look like he's about to go into wrestling or anything like that. But I'm telling you, he's got some strength. He's going to be, I guarantee, by midseason, he's going to be, I think, one of the top 3 corners.
Coming in on our team, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
yeah, okay. When
Right.
you said top 3 corner, I'm like, whoa.
Oh,
I'm like, you taking this to a new level.
Maybe,
you know
maybe
what I'm
not yet. But that's next year. Next
saying?
year.
Yeah, you taking this to a new level, man. And,
But it's important for him to get these reps in preseason.
that's what I'm saying, man. I didn't know. I finally realized what it means for a coach like McCarthy and Coach Quinn to be able to put their hands and their philosophies in play
Right.
with these players, man. That hurt Coach last year a lot, you know, not having these guys out there, man. And then some of the players didn't help either. But anyway, that's for last year.
Yeah, there's no doubt, and nobody wants to talk about excuses. But you know, when you're trying to install a system like that, you do need on-the-field work, and some teams were ready for it more than others.
Now, is that number 79 in the game?
Yes, left tackle.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just
Cooper Rush at quarterback.
it's like he manned it down over there in Secchi on that left side.
Yeah, it ain't a real preseason game. I understand. Yeah. I'm gonna tell you
So
something.
who's your swing tackle?
He got if 79 continues to be who he is, and maybe he's a gamer. Some guys are just gamers, and I'm not discounting that. But I would go with Steele. I would go with Steele
78.
because just give him more and more reps, just like you're trying to do it with Connor Williams, just overshoot the reps.
What about Zach Martin sliding out to tackle if need be?
If that's man, I'm with it. I'm with it because I was against it last year, but Zach is he's one of the top 2 or 3 players on our team.
Right.
He's all that. The president is all that and a little bit more, man. You
Why
know,
do you call him the president?
because when he came, he secured the line, bro. Everybody else was who they were. You know, everybody was who. I talked to Tony Wise, right? Tony Wise coached Eric Williams, Larry Allen, and, of course, the great Nate Newton that can't get in the Hall of Fame. But anyway, but I talked to him, and I said, hey, Zach is the closest guy that out of all these guys that he felt can come in and nudge one of our guys out of the positions, you know, or the old school. He got great balance. You never see him on the ground. If Zach is on the ground, something's wrong. He's never on the ground. He's always moving. He can contort his body all different type ways. He can pass games with excellence. He's the president, bro.
Wait. Let me, Tony. So you talked with Tony Wise about the
Wise.
Cowboys' current offensive line?
Yeah.
What do you think of Tyron?
Years ago. Oh, he liked Tyron, but what I'm saying is Tyron versus Larry Allen.
No.
Bro, I'm gonna tell you that. You know what? I don't even want to go to that, bro.
Or anybody.
Because Tyron is if barring any injury, let's say Tyron stay healthy this year and next year, to me he'll first ballot Hall of Fame.
Yes.
Because what they led in the Hall of Fame now ain't real special. That right there is special.
Now, you had a special tackle in Eric Williams also.
Eric, when I see Eric, man, I saw him this past year during the golf tournament. I looked at Eric, and Eric just shake his head like, yeah, I know. If he wouldn't have hit that wall, dog.
What could have been.
Oh, man.
So are we talking, you know, right now, I think best tackles in the history of the Cowboys, we're talking Rayfield Wright and Tyron Smith in whatever order you want. Is Eric Williams, could he have been better than both?
Had he not had the
better than both. Come on, man. Eric changed the culture of how we play. When we ain't got enough time for me to start talking about how great Eric Williams was, that 4 or 5 years, tell me who could block Reggie White by himself, no help, no bumps, no nothing. He could block Reggie White and everybody else that came in behind that.
And that was so big because it was
Yeah.
more than blocking him, because the Eagles were that team standing in your way.
All
once
the time.
Once you showed you could beat them, then you could take it to the next level.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
along those lines, just that mentality and the culture that you're talking about. I think Parsons has that about him as he comes in here. He's got it's a confidence about him, and he obviously loves football too. But when he walks in the room, I remember when he walked into the room after the Cowboys drafted him, I said, okay, this guy's got it. Okay, he can come in. He has the respect of his teammates, and he's a tough guy. And how important is that to have a collection of players like that? Because that's what you had to turn the tables in that NFC. Of course, the Giants won a Super Bowl right before the Cowboys did. But the Eagles, I mean, I remember that Monday night game in '92.
Yes, sir.
In the first Super Bowl year. And the Eagles had your number, and you came back and beat them twice that year. But it was a culture thing. It was okay, we can beat these guys.
Our best can match up with your best.
Yeah.
Well, I listened to that interview when this kid first came. I listened to the interview on radio. I listened to him, and the first thing I said something about this, the way he talked with confidence, not cocky, not arrogant, but he confident. And as you see him play in game, and as you see him in practice, I know he has a lot to learn, and I'm not putting a lot on his plate. But this kid is held up. They giving him an old school method where we giving you all. When you blow a fuse on the field, that's when we're gonna stop putting it in your mind and in your physical play. This kid has not let anyone down, and all he can do is get better with experience. He's gonna have some wins. He's gonna have some losses. But you don't see this dude trailing the ball a lot. You see him coming to the ball, coming downhill, making plays, running after guys. He brings a new enthusiasm to the game. Now, once he learns the game and really learn what the coaches want and where he really is supposed to be, oh, man, it should be nice for this kid. I don't want to get ahead of myself because I've given the defense personally 6 weeks. When the season starts, I'm giving them 6 weeks, and then I'm gonna see where they at. Because we got a handful of free agents and a boatload of rookies. So that's how that go, man.
See that number 28?
Yeah. That's nice there, man.
That would be Malik Hooker.
Yeah, that's nice.
Batted ball.
Trying to see which DB got in there. Yeah,
Nashawn Wright, number 40.
Now he got to get stronger.
Nashawn Wright.
Yeah, when he gets
they knew it when they drafted him.
when he gets stronger, yeah.
And that's why he was projected to be a late round pick, probably, because the people knew that he needed to get stronger.
You know, that's the art of a good safety, though, right there. Is just be around the football. You know, either find the ball finds him. I know that wasn't necessarily his play. Nashawn did a really good job. But, you know, you got to be opportunistic and make the play. And that's what we've seen Hooker do that when he's been healthy. He's been that type of safety.
You know, just when Neal got that turnover the other night, man, just to see we done got 2 turnovers in 2 preseason games. Yeah, it may not be a big thing, but for Cowboy fans, give this defense opportunity. Our offense is healthy, and they can control the games and keep our defense fresh. And all they got to do is go out there and be in the right gap, hustle to the ball, make sure they rally, and we should be all right. I'm thinking about the 6th or 7th game, we should be all right.
You know, I'm going out on a limb here. I think this guy right here, 42, I think he's the key to the defense.
Keanu Neal.
I really
He knows it all.
I think Dan Quinn has got a role for him. We haven't even seen it yet, and if he's really smart like he is, he's not going to show it in the preseason. He's got a role for him that teams haven't really been able to account for yet. I mean, he's a physical player. We're starting to really see it. I think that he could be the dynamic piece that really changes things. Micah Parsons will certainly be that too. But I think this guy right here can be a type on this defense that the offense has not seen before.
And he made the Pro Bowl early in his career. Then he had an ACL, he had an Achilles, and so he had a couple of years where he was hurt. But he played a full season last year for Atlanta.
Let me say something, man. A lot of times I look and see if guys got pit bull eyes. And pit bull eyes, once they lock on you,
Look at Zeke. Look at Zeke. Look at Zeke.
He's got that visor. I don't even know what he's got.
Okay, go ahead, Nate. I'm sorry.
See that? I done lost my train of thought.
You said
I don't win.
does
Pit bull
Keanu,
eyes.
does Keanu have
He
that
got
pit bull?
Number 11 got pit bull eyes. Neal got pit bull eyes, where even when they're off the field, getting a drink of water, their eyes are locked on the competition.
This
they
guy?
want to see what's going on. Yeah, man. Oh, come on now. Come on, man. I'm with Leighton. It's going to be 3 guys on the field, Neal, Leighton, and number 11.
Yeah.
You know, because I don't believe We got 25 linebackers, and you don't have 25 packages. You either running the base defense or you running the hybrid defense. Yep. And that's how that go. You know what I'm saying?
Well, what are you really saying, Nate? I mean, if those three are on the field, what are you really saying?
I'm just saying the best players play. That's what they always
what are you
told
really
me.
saying?
Yeah. I'm talking about a culture change, baby. I'm talking about somebody that's trying to get to the ball now.
Okay.
I ain't hating on nobody. I ain't hating on nobody.
Who's running the truck back there?
Yeah,
That's what I'm talking about.
You say Neil running the truck. Yeah. Look
No,
at
but let's go. I mean, we're obviously look what right there, number 9, Jalen Smith. I mean, we know
Parsons.
Yeah, but you're not talking about him, but you are. You know, and that's fine. I mean,
right.
that's something's got to give. We know something's got to give at linebacker, and right now
I talked to the higher ups.
Okay.
And they said, you know, this package thing seems good, but you got to have your best players on the field. You don't have a lot of them. Name us top 5 player that can go and play anywhere else. We don't have it on our defense. So I'm talking about what can be projected.
Yeah.
You know, we need for Bohannon to step up.
Hey, there you go, right there.
We need for Justin Hammond. Yeah, we need for this kid, number 91, to step up.
Carlos Watkins.
Yeah, come on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And talking to Coach Quinn, I talked to him. He said, I got a role for each player, Nate. You know, and this is what I want from my young guys. I'm not asking them to do too much. They know who they are. They know what they got to do. This is what I'm asking from this guy, you know, and he's putting them in these packages. You got to earn the right. Coach Quinn don't know these guys. He don't owe them nothing.
That's good. That's a great thing. That isn't good. A ball on the ground. Another fumble snap.
And one other thing.
Who's my center?
One other thing I want to say is I'm talking about guys that have made plays. If you haven't made a play, I'm not finna talk about you because I want to. It's a positive deal. This is practice. It's a positive. If you ain't making plays, I'm not talking about you. That's just how it goes.
There we go.
Yeah.
Well, this is, you know, Connor Williams was in there at center. I don't know if was
he?
Was that a missed snap there? I don't know if it certainly looked like
I saw the result. The ball was on the ground.
Here's Connor here.
Was the quarterback under center?
Yes.
That kid ain't bad.
34.
Dowdy is his name.
Dowdle, yeah.
Dowdle.
Man, I hate that fumble happened and the dude hit him perfect because he had the ball tucked. But that dude's special, man. We got 3 backs here, man, that everybody should be fresh at the end of the year.
What do you think of 37 Jaquan Hardy the other night?
I saw a little bit of him. You know, after the first few series, Bill,
Babe was big on him the other night.
Yeah, Babe big on a lot.
Wasn't it Knox that was also running at the end?
Let me tell you something. When you got to do a whole game, see, you and Babe got to do a whole game. Isaiah, me, I kind of fell on somebody. My wife like, get off me, man, you're starving.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, hey, look at that. Go number 11. I get that from Coach Landry.
You think
you don't have to learn on
You think he'll get a star?
You know, number 11 could play running back, too, in this league.
No, he can play linebacker.
I know he can play linebacker, but...
Stop, Bill. Stop. Because that's what sometimes coaches want to get creative and get the star hurt. Yeah. Let's don't get creative.
You know what? I was watching training camp, though.
Mm-hmm.
He played running back as a senior in high school in
Yes.
Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Micah Parsons did. And there was one blitz package where he came through on a blitz, and he, found daylight like a running back would. He was using those running back instincts in blitzing a quarterback. And I think you'll see that at times this year where he blitzes like a running back. He finds the daylight.
I remember seeing that, too, just when I was watching some of his highlights. And I know he was going up against Purdue and Northwestern and Michigan State and all that. But they couldn't block him. Like when he was blitzing, they really had a hard time blocking him, and that's kind of what you're talking about. He knows how to get creative.
See, this is what I liked about him.
Chase.
He was kind of lost.
Yeah.
You could tell he was kind of lost. But when he made up his mind, ground was gained. And I'm going to tell you something now. Since y'all feel that way back, I played fullback in high school, so I could not go find a linebacker to daylight.
Hey.
Huh?
Okay, well, Nate,
hey,
okay. Did you ever tell Jimmy or?
No, they asked me to do that a couple times.
They did.
Hey, man, how would you like to
because
be
because
fullback on short
like
yardage?
the fridge?
Fridge started that in '86.
Yeah, and I'd have been the first guy to get his knee blew out, and then and I wasn't going for it.
But it was brought up.
Yeah, it was brought up a lot of times. Hey, Nate, man, you love this low left, man. Let's put you at fullback. No, coach. I love low left when the guy.
It could have been a different story in Philly on 4th and 1.
Okay. No, they knew we was coming there.
Wait.
They knew we was coming there.
Who would be at left guard though?
We had Kevin Gogan. We had I can't think of my other guy. He's the mayor of Capel. Yeah, we on camera.
John
yeah,
Giesick.
Yeah, we had, bro. We were loaded.
Hey,
we never had a depth problem.
I want to see Bohanna though do it.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
nah, don't blow out. No, man, I don't do that.
Who's stopping him as a fullback?
Nah, just let him be a run stopper. Because when we go down there to the big sombrero, they gonna run the ball. Everybody, Tom gonna no, they gonna run the ball.
Yeah.
Let him do what he was brought here to do. Yeah, don't do that. That's my man. Look at that. A big, sexy, 6'3", 200 and about 300 and about.
Felt. I mean,
yeah.
he's lost
30 pounds. He looks good, man. And then like Justin Hamilton. Look at it, man. Justin Hamilton look like a big man, tired, coming out. Yeah, I like that. Gonna go in the back, get him some oxygen, some air. Yeah, look at that.
So, Nate, you played fullback in high school. You scored,
yeah.
How many touchdowns you scored?
The one touchdown that I was going to score, my quarterback, Eugene DeBose, quarterback snuck it across. And he got up to me, big dude, big. I ain't played with it. I was like, man, go ahead on. My only shot at a touchdown.
What was your dance going to be? I know it's high school, but
man,
you're on camera. You can show it.
Oh, man, bro, if I do this dance, it'll be X-rated, man. NFL will be after me, man. I had a funky, nasty dance, baby. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right, we move back down to the other end of the field. The
yes, sir.
Offense at their own 35-yard line now as we continue in.
There's number 94.
Team drills here with Garrett Gilbert back in at quarterback.
I'm going to tell you something. A dude came off the end on Tyron.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to tell you how athletic Tyron. The dude got the jump on Tyron. He missed the snap. Tyron still was able at the end to get his hand.
Yep.
That's athleticism, boy.
That's what you talk about, Eric Williams. That's what he could do.
Yeah.
People thought that he was, beat, and all of a sudden he put that big claw and just hit him in the back.
Wow, man.
I saw Randy Gregory on that play just now drop into coverage. If that's a part of his game, I know he needs to be rushing the quarterback. I get it. But every once in a while, if you can fool him and put him back in coverage.
11 coming. No, they didn't get the game.
Yeah, can't.
11 went into the A gap. Tackle came around into the B gap. 63 didn't pass it off good enough. Right. And the left guard gave too much ground.
You can't block him, Bill. You can't block this guy.
He found daylight.
I'm talking about 11.
He turned into a running back. He found daylight.
That's right. Had both defensive ends standing up there. You had 94 on one side, Dorrance Armstrong, 92 on the other side. Dorrance played a nice game the other day.
Yeah.
Ooh, did he not,
That
man?
was a nice camp.
And see, I thought he should have played his rookie year. I thought they should have found time for him.
He did.
And that's what I like about being young and having a lot of free agents. You got to play these guys. Who the old guys? Ain't no more old guys. You got to play these young guys. And he feel good about it, man. He play with confidence now. But he going up against the master. He going up against let's see what's happening right here. Yeah. Tyron didn't even block him good. He just threw him out.
Now just kind of pushed.
He just pushed him out of the way.
Uh-oh.
Something happened.
Way.
A little
Who
interception.
at quarterback?
That was Gilbert.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
As you can tell, we're not giving away too many secrets here for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are.
Well, we got numbers,
We do have numbers. Different than last year.
All on the ground.
Remember last year on Cowboys night, there were no numbers because there were no preseason games.
Ooh. Boy, there's some fans that weren't happy about that one.
Don't do that, man. Don't do that, man. Don't drop that ball, CeeDee. That's the number one receiver, right?
Oh, is it?
Oh, CeeDee finna catch 112, 110 passes.
Ooh,
Why not?
Because everybody's going to get some. I just don't think.
I don't believe in everybody getting some.
I think everybody will, though. I'm not saying that this is, youth soccer where everyone has to get a trophy. I'm saying that I think it just will work out that way. That you want to double team him today? Fine, Gallup's going to go off. You want to do that?
You see that right there?
Bullet
fastest man alive, and he missed some. Come on, man. CeeDee Lamb. should catch 112 passes this year.
So you think he'll have a DeAndre Hopkins type 115 catch season?
That's who he is. And I don't know if his hand's as good as DeAndre, but that's a different handset right there.
True.
You know, but that's who he is. Now, I'm going to tell you who need to pick up his game is Michael Gallup because he can't catch the small ball. 5 and out, 6 and in, slants. He, you know, unless it's a big, he got to learn to catch the small ball. You don't catch the small ball, he'll be on a different level.
Yep.
You know, that dude, they're on a different level, man. Look at him, man. Pitbull eyes.
Got those eyes?
Pitbull eyes, yeah, man.
Okay.
For me to talk about you, you got to be doing something.
Okay, let me ask you this, though.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes those eyes can fool you.
Yeah.
Amari Cooper doesn't have those eyes.
Right.
He's still a dog, though.
Mm-hmm.
He had a quiet 92 catches, if that's possible, last year, you know?
Right.
So I just think sometimes, and people ask that all the time about Amari, like, you know, why is he a little bit quiet, or what, does he care? Oh, yeah, he cares. He just does it in a different way. But, I mean, I can't wait to see these 3 guys on the field with the offensive line and Zeke and everybody back.
Let me say something, man. How many catches did this kid have last year?
92.
Which one? 92. If memory serves me right, or if that graphic is correct. Oh, it's right there.
Right there.
Let me say something, man.
Say it. You got the floor.
Let me say something. Everybody, and I don't know why this don't apply to CeeDee. We talking about, Gallup has made a big jump. Oh, this guy's made a big jump. What if he make a big jump? You think 10 more passes are going to satisfy him? I'm thinking about 75 more passes going to satisfy him. This dude is different, man.
If this offense is better and this defense is better, and which means the team is better, those numbers will go down. That's what Amari Cooper.
Oh, that look nice. That's a Bama product. I ain't taking nothing away from. Oh, that's right. That's right, Bill. You're in the SEC, baby. You're rocking big boy ball now. Yeah. I'm going to tell y'all something. I love Amari. I'm just talking about a dude, like you said earlier, about 10 minutes ago, Nick, it's something about the 88s.
Yeah.
He took them through camp.
He certainly did.
Yeah,
You're right about that.
So that's what I'm talking. His enthusiasm. You know, him, number 89, is going to be the man. They're going to be what's happening.
Blake Jarwin.
You know, The Art of War, that's what he reads. He read the book Art of War. That's good. But I'm telling you who displayed the Art of War, CeeDee Lamb. I'm telling you, big play after big play, bro. And if he can be consistent with catching the small ball, the plays that just move the chain, now you can't cover Amari because Amari can beat any type coverage. That's proven. Now CeeDee Lamb learned that.
Yeah.
I ain't know CeeDee Lamb was like that, man. I'm serious.
Oh, you didn't?
No, I did. The first time I saw the kid, I heard people talk about him when he was in college, and the first time I saw him was against Baylor. And I looked at him and said, man, okay, all right, okay. And then when he fell to us, I still wasn't excited. And then I saw him play that slot.
Yeah, you didn't watch him play.
I'm saying if he get outside, if they put him outside and the slot, how do you stop that?
Yeah. Those Texas Longhorn fans certainly
that was
think that way.
unbelievable
Like
game.
they knew.
Well, see, I didn't.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I know him now.
Yep.
See, I think that play right there that we just saw is a very important play. Noah Brown, to me, he did it in the Hall of Fame game. That's the type of play he's got to make. He's going to get some reps. He's not going to play a lot. But when he gets in there, he needs to be a possession guy. Big body. You don't get over my back like that. This is my spot. I'm going to rebound it like a basketball player. I'm going to make the catch. I'm going to get off the field because CeeDee's coming back on or whatever. But that's the type of play that Noah Brown has to make, and I like that.
You never did in the coach of Nick.
No,
you sounded real good on that.
Well,
thank
you
you.
sounded sweet on that. I'm with you.
That's how you move the stick.
Yeah,
right?
man.
Yeah, I mean, but Joseph with the pick.
You know, there you go, Kelvin Joseph.
Did he go down, or was that the end of the game?
Can we get that again? I mean, wow, our camera crew is so great, man. I need to see that again, man. He get up like that. That's what he's supposed to do. You see how he just got up like, yeah, man. Oh, my God.
Angle.
Oh, yeah. He went
Yeah, that's nice there, man. He say rapping is his hobby. This is his job. Please believe that the rest of the year. Please believe that.
Look at that 4.34 speed
lot of info
in a
in
10.8 broad jump.
Yeah.
That's first round athleticism right there.
Yeah.
And, of course, he started his career at LSU and then transferred to Kentucky. Played 9 games last year for Kentucky. Opting out.
I like his kind of took the criticism kind of head on. He's like, okay, fine. You want to say that you want to question my commitment because, he left LSU early, obviously, and left Kentucky as well, and didn't really finish that season. But he's like, I'm fully committed. If you don't believe me, just watch. And he's gone out and
so who number 14 out there? So we'll see. Yeah. I know they can't show much.
That looked.
Yeah, that was a bad.
Right.
Yeah.
That's your guy, 79 there.
You know what, man? That's one thing Troy didn't play, man.
What?
That jumping offside. I was the dude doing it 80% of the time.
Right.
And Troy used to look at me, man. I'm surprised he even turned my calls.
Okay. But let me ask you this, and I'm not trying to compare him, but like early in his career, did Jason Garrett do that? Because you're talking about the third quarterback who has his own problems. So I'm saying you have to be that guy. You
right.
Did the third string quarterback just say what's going on here?
Right.
I mean, because you would have turned around and been like, boy,
hey,
you'll listen to it from
I'm
Troy.
gonna tell you something. I never practiced with Jason until he got in the game.
Yeah.
I never practiced with Rodney Pete until he got in the game. Back then it was first team.
Yeah.
And they tried. That's the only way we got saved is we didn't have to practice with the second team. Other than that, it was because we was full pass.
Right.
So yeah.
So you're saying practice was different then than
Yeah, it's better now. It's much better for these players. Yes,
How much did you love playing for Jimmy Johnson?
I hated it. What's good about practicing with Jimmy? I hated it. The only thing I loved was the winning. Jimmy told us, I know y'all don't like me. That's fine, but we're going to win. In spite of you, we're going to win. That's what he was telling us. Yeah, we're going to win.
Did you love playing for Barry Switzer?
Oh, loved it to death. Barry let us do what we want. Thanks, Coach Switzer. Love you to death.
The reason I asked, it seems like these players love playing for McCarthy.
They do. I think he's frank with them. I think he's straight up with them. And he tells them what he thinks and what he expects. Now, he's trying to let them be men. But the leadership on his team this year, I think, is way different than it ever been. Where we had Jason Witten coming from a tight end's point of view leading this team. That's good when you got a bulldog tight end. But that right there.
Prescott.
That's what takes you. Troy would give you a look, man. Emmett would give you a look. Mike would give you a look. And they'll come off the field cussing every down, them two guys. But Troy come off the field like, hey, fellas, let's gather up here. Let's reset ourselves. When it coming from the big dog, it's a whole lot better.
That's one of the neat things about watching, and I think going forward on HBO's Hard Knocks, and being able to hear behind the scenes what Dak is all about as far as – because we know he's a great leader and everything.
Right.
And he's a great guy, in all the interviews that he does and everything. But when you can really see behind the scenes how much he wants to be out there. And to your point about Aikman and the standard that Aikman set for those teams, and Dak has those same qualities about him. But that's all behind the scenes stuff that we don't normally see.
I tell people like this right here. The guy that's going to touch that ball every time. And that's what I like about Zach Martin. He's a leader. And Tyron kind of, is I'm pronouncing it right?
Tyron.
No.
Tyron, thank you, Bill. Tyron has kind of let him lead. He's a quiet guy. So he lets the president lead. And when you got guys that's on the field every snap, of course Jason was because he wasn't coming out regardless of who came in. But when you got that thing in the middle of the field, like those two guys are doing, that's something special, man. Now, Zeke can say something, but you can't say much as a running back because you in and out of the game depending on the packages. But that quarterback is getting that ball every time.
Are there similarities between Zeke and Emmett as far as
Now, Zeke. I'm
talking like their personalities in the locker room.
Emmett didn't talk. When Emmett talked, it had to be terrible. Things had to be going on terribly wrong. I don't know Zeke. As far as how he, I can tell you about the different running styles, but I don't know Zeke how he talked to his people. Emmett when things.
As far as being a leader on the Emmett, the running back position in general does not lend itself necessarily to being a leader.
Nah.
Outside of you're leading by example.
Yeah. Nah, man. Nah. See, the quarterback can have a bad day, and we as offensive linemen feel his pain. a running back have a bad day, we like, man, find the hole. You know, find the hole, man. Pick up your block. Because, you know, at one point you blocking like we are. So, but when the quarterback, Troy covered a lot. A great quarterback can cover a lot of problems, man. A lot of problems. And Troy had games where he may not have threw for a bunch of passes, but the passes he completed were quality, and they covered a lot. And he was standing in there for us, man. He would stand in there and take that pounding. And a lot of quarterbacks ain't going to stand in there like that.
There's Rico Dowdle, second-year man out of South Carolina.
You know, I feel like Mike, man. I'm touching Nick too much. You know, Mike like to touch everybody else. I'm sorry.
Well, you know, you mentioned Mike, Michael Irvin.
Right.
And I think, you know, it's been said a lot, you know, he probably helped Emmett in a lot of ways of Troy's the quarterback. He's the leader.
Yes.
Emmett, just run the football because
Right.
Michael's going to be the emotional leader
That's right.
as
That's
well.
right.
You know, and so that you guys, I mean, it was awesome. It really was. It was an awesome thing to watch because just of how you guys kind of grew together.
You know what movie I wish would have been out when Eric Williams was at his peak? Because I knew he would have did it. You ever seen Gladiator where he kills the man and say, "Are you not entertained?" He takes his sword.
Yeah.
I remember Eric used to put his hands up, and I remember I was like, boy, if that movie would have been out, Big E would have been like, "Are you not entertained?"
What if social media would have been out?
Yeah, well, we wouldn't have had a team. You know, we would have been Super Bowl less. We'd have been Super Bowl less. Boy.
Michael has said that a few times too.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow. I can say a little prayer right now and there for all of us. We would have been Super Bowl less.
Cooper Rush, number 10. Even it way downfield.
There we go.
See, that have been Lamb. Caught.
Kelvin Joseph on the coverage there.
It don't matter. Caught.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the difference between your first or second receiver and your 8th or 9th, 10th.
Did you get a chance to see him against Jalen? Did they ever compete, CeeDee, during the Rams' little short period of time?
I wasn't out there.
Yeah. Did you?
They did a little bit.
Yeah.
They did.
Yeah.
And, I mean, nobody really checked Jalen out in Oxnard. Nobody. You know, I thought it was interesting. The second or third best player at training camp got beat a lot. Trevon Diggs. He got beat a lot, but he went up against CeeDee Lamb. But I thought Diggs had a good camp. But, I mean, he didn't really win most of those battles.
Right.
I mean, if it wasn't caught, it's because maybe CeeDee dropped it or whatever. Right. He really wasn't checked much at all. It's a good sign. Maybe he is going to catch 112, like you said.
I just believe this right here.
What is that, 6-7 a game?
He does not have a history of being injured. CeeDee.
Right.
And so I'm knocking on big wood.
Mm-hmm.
If he plays 17 games, come on, man.
That's one of CeeDee's best qualities, I thought, at Oklahoma was his toughness.
Availability.
Mm-hmm.
So who's that center?
This is 63, isn't it?
Look at that. Look at that. Get the ball out your hand. Get the ball out your hand. One. Go. Let it go.
Yeah.
There you go.
He going to catch that all day.
Michael Gallup.
A big play, a potential big play, that's Gallup.
Yeah.
And I need for him to start catching the small ball.
How about that throw Gilbert made in the game the other day?
Yeah.
With the guy in his face down the sideline.
I don't think there's guys in the league that can. I mean, you're not going to find a better throw than that. I thought Garrett Gilbert had a really good game. His stats doesn't really show that. I thought he looked comfortable in uncomfortable situations, and mostly because the snap was high, low, left, east, west, whatever. He picked it up, did something with it, got rid of it. But that deep ball he threw, not only that one just now, but the one in the game to Cedric Wilson was amazing.
And that's why we can't mess around. If this guy's going to be your second quarterback, give him every opportunity to flourish.
You see that? I mean, that right there is what we've been asking for. Zeke and Pollard together, back in the backfield. I don't think we're showing too much here. I mean, they're going to put them both out there. But those two guys together on the field, I mean, that's where you can get kind of dynamic.
Hold on, I just got a call. Tell him to be quiet. The folks say be quiet, man.
Well, there's 2,000 out here with phones as well.
Hey, Nick got me on social media. You know what I did during training camp, Bill?
What?
I took a picture of my little game
Press
pass. It won 10 seconds. hey, could you get that down off your
Oh, and I wasn't the first call. I got a call and said, hey, you need to get a hold of Nate. Ask him to get that credential off.
And he probably didn't say it that nice.
Yeah.
And I got it off, and I'm like, I didn't know how to get it off, so I got
Yeah.
William to do it for me. He took it off like, man, you ain't
everything.
supposed to do that. I said, William, thank you.
You know,
'Cause I ain't never heard Nick talk that hard and that fast.
Zeke says his weight is down to what it was when he was a freshman at Ohio State, 218
You
pounds.
see how he covering up that ball? He
Yeah.
covering up that ball? Yes, sir. I'm tell you what, man.
His feet look good.
Man. I tell you later, him, man. That dude there, man.
And Danucci.
Wow.
Wow. Good wow, bad wow? What's
It's
wow?
just until I see Dak out there going through a whole practice, you go to bed every night like, is this backup quarterback, and you have to think about it because he's not practicing. Not the whole, and so you got to think about it. You don't want to. You want to say, hey, they covering, they looking out for him, but still you got 3 great receivers and a running back that ain't getting no balls thrown to you.
There goes Daryl Moose Johnston.
I don't know about that one.
Nick Ralston.
What do you know about him?
Argyle, Texas. Argyle Eagle.
Yeah, okay. Argyle.
He had a couple of plays on special teams and a block on Zaven Collins in the game the other night.
That's that dude there, man. Can he good special team? I know he got a good kickoff and punt return, but think he can tackle some folks.
I think there's a role for him. Now I did wonder what Shewo Olanalua was if he was gonna have a role there, because he's got a real unique skill set. He hurt his neck, and he's probably gonna miss some time. I do too.
That was a tough loss.
Yeah.
A couple of tough losses in this camp, Olanalua and Neville Gallimore, obvious.
True.
Let me say this, fellas. The role for 34 is to be the greatest special team in the world. And if something happens to one of the running backs, then you have a role. I'm talking about number 17, Turner. Your role is to be the best special team player you can be.
Right.
Because all the balls got to go to my 3 receivers.
All right. Nate Newton, Nick Eatman, it was glorious throughout this practice with you, and we've got some special guests coming up. Barry Church and Isaiah stand back. Cowboys night continues in a moment.
Come on, man. Come on, Nick, we ain't going nowhere. We bought
Training Camp 2021. Look who's got the referee outfit on. It's John Fossil. Bones Fossil, the special teams coach.
Looks like he belongs.
And we're working 2-minute offense here. And Bill Jones with Barry Church and Isaiah stand back now. We've saved the best for last this last half hour of our Cowboys coverage. And
I'll tell you what. If that was Blake Jarwin on that first grab, he's been looking pretty impressive.
And there's Michael Gallup.
There you go.
Working a little 2-minute drill here towards the end of practice.
All right. I like how they got Jarwin kind of flexed out. I've seen that a lot so far in camp.
How about Randy Gregory coming off the edge there?
A little too quick.
Man.
A little bit too quick.
Well, what have you seen out here today and throughout this training camp with your monitoring things? What pops to mind for Barry Church and Isaiah?
Well, for me, I'm biased a little bit, just a little bit on the defensive side. So I've been focusing a lot, especially on the secondary. I love what Dan Quinn has done so far with this defense, promoting competition on the first level, the second level, third level, and I love what they did with the safety position. I mean, I feel like this might be the deepest unit that they've had at the safety position in a very long time. I like what I've seen from Hooker so far. KZ seems to be back from that Achilles. He's moving really well. So I'm liking what I see from this defense, and you gotta like what you see from the young kid Parsons. I mean, he's been all over the field so far earlier in this camp.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, man. I think there's going to be some tough decisions that have to be made at the safety position, especially and in cornerback position. I think they're going to project it to probably keep 10 guys, so 4 safeties and then six cornerbacks. So seeing how that's all going to pan out is going to be very interesting. On the offensive side of the ball, I feel like majority of the offense is pretty much set in stone.
Yeah.
I think you're really looking at that. I think they're going to keep probably 6 receivers. So, you got, Cedric Wilson and you got Noah Brown really taking that 4 and 5 spot. Who's going to be number 6?
You think it's going to be Simi?
Is it going to be Simi Fehoko? Is it going to be
Turner had his injury the other day.
Yeah, Malik Turner had an injury, but before that, he was playing his butt off.
I like this game.
I think most of the competition is really taking place on the defensive side of the ball.
Bill, let me ask you a question. What have you thought so far about the new 42? Keanu Neal, how do you like what he's been able to do on this defense? Yeah, you got it right there.
I love that. I'm trying to think, who would the original 42 be? Randy Hughes back in the day, in the 70s? I'm trying to think back further than that. See, I'm a long-time Cowboy. I grew up in Irving, and so right in the shadow of Texas Stadium, and so that's the earliest I can remember as a 42 Randy Hughes back in the 70s. But to your point,
yes,
this 42 reminded me of a buried church.
I tell you what, now you're making me blush a little bit.
I like what I'm seeing out of him, and we were talking about it earlier with Nate and Nick, how important he is to this defense, and I think that was key acquisition that Dan Quinn spearheaded in the offseason is get my guy from Atlanta here, and you can see how he's going to be utilized a little bit.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt, especially, where the NFL's going as far as offensively. Everything's spread. Everything's 11 personnel. They're trying to get these guys in space. So you got to have defenders who can match that, who can be out there in space and not be a liability. And last year we saw that a little bit as far as defensively, how they were spreading the running backs out and kind of getting our linebackers out in space like that. So I definitely think Keanu Neal is a huge addition. Great play by Diggs right there.
There you go.
Good D by Diggs. Good D by Diggs.
Top 2 picks last year, first rounder Lamb, second rounder Diggs, and Diggs got the best of that one. We've seen that matchup a lot in training camp.
Oh, yeah.
It's been fun to watch them go up against each other.
CeeDee has had a pretty impressive training camp. I mean, I feel like all the highlights I've seen, he's snagging balls. His routes seem really crisp. Hey, I think he might have an opportunity to make that major leap.
And that's the thing. CeeDee makes one of those highlight reel catches. Here he is in the corner of the end zone there.
Right on cue.
And maybe he's on Diggs when he makes that play. Well, Diggs has been winning a lot of those matchups too.
Oh, okay. That's good. That's good.
But it's good that these guys get to battle like this in practice, because Diggs is going into, obviously both of them going into their second year. I think they're both going to make some tremendous jumps. I think the expectation of both of them, obviously, Diggs being the number 1 corner, and then CeeDee being that 1B now. Really, it's kind of he's really a 2, but he's making his case for the 1B position. Obviously, he has Cooper ahead of him, but he's really stepped up, and more than anything, even aside from the plays that he's making, you can really see his confidence and his leadership really kind of coming to fruition. And that's what's kind of jumped out at me more than anything this camp.
Okay, we got the 2s out there now, and Cooper Rush will be at quarterback here.
Okay.
And ball at the 45-yard line. Noah Brown's in there. Simi Fehoka's in there. Got Randy Gregory working the left side of the defense. The 2s on offense here. Fehoko in motion.
Yes, Nashon, huh? Good route.
Oh, my.
Baptized.
Some suddenness from Kelvin Joseph.
There it is.
A little love tap right there.
Yeah, there's a little shoulder tap right there. Way to introduce yourself a little bit.
They don't have time to think about it. They got to get back on the ball.
I'll tell you what,
stand in there and throw the ball, bro.
I'll tell you what, Isaiah and Bill, I really like what I'm seeing out of Maurice Kennedy, the young slot corner out there. I mean, he's been performing well in training camp, and when the opportunities come, he's been ready. He's been able to hold his own out there.
There he is, number 31, Maurice Kennedy, who opted out last year.
He got fresh legs, Bill.
Yes,
that's right.
Fresh legs.
That's right.
One thing that stuck out for me this year so far with him is how physical he is.
Yes.
He gets his hands on you. We saw, I think in the first game, Nashon Wright tried to shadow some guys. We saw Kelvin Joseph last week trying to shadow some guys and kind of had back-to-back bad plays. But one thing that Kennedy doesn't allow is for guys just to get free releases. He really gets their hands on you, and that's what Dan Quinn really wants in this system.
And that's one of the
there he is
again, making a play. And that's one of the hardest positions in all of defense, because you have so much space at that slot. On the outside corner, you got the sideline to work with you. You got your low wrap players to help you. But in that nickel, that slot position, I mean, man-to-man, you're guarding some of the shiftiest guys in the NFL. And versus the run, you got to be added like an extra linebacker out there. So definitely one of the hardest, but Kennedy has definitely been able to hold his own so far.
And Kennedy is a guy who came into the league. He was a 6th-round draft pick of the Ravens and played with the Ravens for 4 years, and then went to the Jets and then was signed as a free agent last year by the Cowboys. And so even though Cowboys fans, unless you're really following the AFC and the Ravens closely, you wouldn't have heard of Maurice Kennedy, but he's got some experience in this league. So there's a reason why he's been able to make an impact. He belongs.
This is true.
There's Simi Fehoko, the rookie out of Stanford.
It looked like he was able to beat Kelvin Joseph on that one.
He caught a hand to the face initially, but yeah, he did come off and get a catch.
Incomplete.
It'll be interesting as you talk about the battle for that the last wide receiver spot on the roster, and it's going to be interesting now what happens with Malik Turner and his turf toe and how much that sets him back because he was having a good camp. And he's another one like Kennedy, who, even though he's new to the Cowboys, he came last year, but relatively new to the Cowboys, he's got experience in the league. Okay. Had a nice season with Seattle a couple of years ago.
Yeah, there's less question marks about Turner's ability versus versus Simi Fehoko.
Right.
And I think that's the biggest challenge that Simi's going to have to realize. You're going to need to see influx of it, not only just intensity, but I mean, yeah, like right there. He has to recognize the moment.
Yeah,
he has, and I'm not sure if that's necessarily clicked for him yet. He has to have a sense of urgency, not only on the offensive side of the ball, but on special teams, because that's where Turner. Not only that's where you're going to make the team, but that's where the check mark is for Turner.
Yeah,
he's a beast. He's a playmaker on the special teams. He's a core special teamer. So if that's where your question mark is at, and that's where his for sure is at, then you have to figure something out. Because you're not going to be on the field as a receiver as much. So the place that we need the most impact from you if you're going to consume a roster spot is special teams. But with that said, Malik Turner obviously being hurt, Simi Fehoko has a heck of an opportunity over these next few weeks.
You got to show it.
See what Cooper Rush comes up with here.
Yeah, it looked like it was good timing.
Good grab, too.
Oh, they're sitting right on schedule. There's Simi. Taking advantage of those opportunities.
Final few minutes of this Cowboys night open practice for fans. And by the way, fans, you'll be able to come to 3 more open practices here. One will be this coming Friday, and then the following Friday and Saturday they'll have open practices here. So, of course, Cowboys playing the Texans on Saturday night at AT&T Stadium, and then close out the preseason on a Sunday afternoon, a noon kickoff, just like the regular season against the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Simi versus Kelvin Joseph.
We're at the top of the scale, at the top. We're at the top. We're not at the bottom.
Ooh, good
Noah Brown. That was a really good route against Wright right there.
For these guys, young guys coming into the league, let me ask you, Barry, being an undrafted guy out of Toledo when you came into the league.
Yes, sir.
What was the biggest difference transitioning into the league? And what was your mindset when you came into the league to make an impression? Obviously, you needed to play special teams. But to know that, when did you know that, okay, I can do this at this level?
Well, the biggest difference beginning coming from the MAC, it was just the speed of the game. I mean, I felt like everybody was fast. Defensive linemen, linebackers, offensive linemen. I was just shocked at how fast everybody was. But once I was able to slow the game down a little bit, pretty much understand the playbook like the back of my hand, everything pretty much slowed down at that point. And I was never one of the fastest guys. I came out running a 4.65 at my best day. But I was always a mental type dude. So I always kind of anticipated things. And that's what kind of allowed me to stay in the league as long as I did, because I was able to anticipate. But overall, the biggest difference to me coming from college to the NFL, it's got to be the speed. It's got to be the speed. And once I realized I can play this game, we were it was funny. We were in San Antonio at the time, early in camp, and I had to guard Miles Austin in the slot at the time, and he did like a triple move on me, but for some reason I was still right in his hip pocket, and I was like, you know what? If I'm hanging with this guy, a Pro Bowl guy, you know what? I think I might have a chance here. So the rest is history, but it was a great experience for sure.
Cooper Rush going for the end zone.
Oh, Simi.
There you go.
He is. He heard you, Isaiah. He heard it. He got to take advantage.
Yep. Fifth round draft pick out of Stanford. Elevating.
Nice.
He's got some good athleticism.
And that's what you have to do. I mean, you have to recognize that, hey, the person that I'm competing with, unfortunately, is injured right now, but it provides me the opportunity, to come in and earn a roster spot, regardless if I'm drafted or not. That's who I'm competing with. There's no question about it. There's been a lot of guys in this league that had heck of a careers because of injury allowed for them to have that chance. Tom Brady, Dak Prescott. There's plenty of guys that have had their shot, but they seized the opportunity.
All right, everybody up on Coach right now, and we will continue with more Cowboys night coverage from here at Ford Center at the Star in Frisco in just a moment. Download the Cowboys Now app on Amazon Fire, Roku, and Apple TV to get the latest news and analysis on your home TV. Get the latest player interviews, video podcasts, documentaries, and so much more on the Cowboys Now app. Looking live here at Ford Center, Tostitos Championship Plaza outside as fans start filing out. Cowboys concluding Cowboys night here as the Cowboys have returned home, their first training camp practice here at home that fans have been able to come out and watch. 27 days ago, they started this in Oxnard, California. That's when they were reported on July 20th. 23 days left until opening night. Thursday night, September 9th, against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Defending champs.
Yeah.
It's going to come around real quick.
It is pretty amazing how, especially once the team played the Hall of Fame game. Here in the last 10 days or so, things start rolling really fast now. And there's a lot of decisions that are going to be made over the course of the next couple of weeks. And actually, the 90-man roster gets trimmed to 85 tomorrow. And then another 5 players get cut next Tuesday, and then they get down to 53 after the Jacksonville game. So
it's going to be a very tough, decision making that's going to have to happen, because I feel like a lot of these players that are towards the bottom of the roster or down there pretty low, I mean, they've all played well. They've all, made plays to where the coaches got to, they got to really think about it, especially in these preseason games. We've seen a lot of young cats on the defensive line, especially in that Arizona game. They were getting after them. So it's definitely going to be a tough process, but, it's all part of the game.
This is a part of the business that just sucks. There's no other thing to say about it. It's just they're really coming into this season, realistically. There may have been, 8 roster spots available? Yeah. Just being realistic, right? The way contracts are already set in stone. And this is the business of the NFL. You bring 90 guys in, and majority of those guys are camp bodies. Yeah. Now you are providing guys an opportunity, right, to go out there and compete. And preseason allows for, especially when you have 4 preseason games, it allows for you to go out there and make plays. And not only are you throwing your hat in, throwing your hat in there for this opportunity, but also the rest of the teams around the league. And, there is plenty of opportunities, plenty of times where I was in that same situation. It's like, hey, guess what? I may not have opportunity to be on this roster, but guess what? I'm still trying out for everybody else who decides to watch this film in the league.
And that's what you're doing when you go through these preseason games and all these camps. You're putting your resume out there. I mean, because like I said, there's 31 other teams out there, and you might not make this Dallas Cowboys roster, but the last thing you want to do is put out bad tape out there to where coaches kind of just write you off as, he's not ready, or he's not hungry enough for this game. So you kind of always have to fight for it.
Now, what's happening right now, this is post-practice stuff, and you'll see the tight ends, skill position players, wide receivers, running backs, they do drills off to the side. Their coaches, their position coaches get them, and they'll do something on the jugs machine or whatever. It's interesting to see the little things that players do to enhance their game, and staying after practice is an important part of it. And there's a lot of coaching that goes on right now.
Oh, yeah. If you see what Lynn's doing right there, I mean, 9 times out of 10, tight ends are going to catch contested balls. I mean, they're not the fastest, so they're not going to have a step or two on people. So you love to see that type of work being done between the coach and his player.
Mike Pope, tight ends coach out at Oxnard. He would have, after practice, the tight ends, he would have the craziest drills that they would do. One of them would be he would put them in a porta potty. What? he would put him in a porta potty after practice. The tight end would go in the porta potty, open the door, and they'd fire a ball at him. It would be drills like that. Mike Pope, legendary tight ends coach in this league for decades. And those are the type things. The other things are that you be down on the ground and you have a player that's laying on top of you basically, and then you have hot pop up but you think about it and there was a method to his madness, and there was a reason why you're doing this. You're catching. Don't have a phone booth around. They don't have phone booths anymore, but they do have porta potties on the side of the field. And so Witten could tell lots of stories, I bet, on Mike Pope.
I remember a couple of times with Witten and Pope, they had Witten would be turned facing Pope. They would pour a bucket of ice on Witten, then have him turn around and they throw the jugs at him. I mean,
another one of them. Yeah.
He had some legendary drills for after practice.
Yeah. That's awesome. All right, we're see Garrett Gilbert there. What are your impressions of Garrett Gilbert and what you've seen so far?
I need him to do more than what he's shown these first 2 weeks. Yeah. There's nothing that he's shown that makes you feel secure right now that he's your number 2 quarterback. If something was to happen to Dak, or if this shoulder that's healing was to flare back up, I'm not confident that the team even has confidence that Double G can carry them through. Yeah. You see the body language of guys when he misses throws or he holds the ball too long, and those are the things that really kind of every time. Let me put it like this: when you're in practice and you make a play, your teammates are gaining confidence in you. Or if you make a bad play, they're losing confidence in you. And when you're at that position, everybody's watching you. So you can't even have bad practices. And let's not even talk about the games. If you're having bad practices, then guys are literally losing confidence in you. So when you do present the opportunity where you're actually in a game, those are the gentlemen that are looking at you saying, this is who's supposed to be leading us. So they need to see more out of him over these next 2 weeks, because he's trying out too. And you best believe that these scouts are looking at scouring the league to see how the other backups are playing and see if anybody comes available. But his job is not secure either.
Yeah, without a doubt. Oh, go ahead.
Well, how important is it just commanding the huddle and even when you have a bad play and the body language and that sort of stuff with a quarterback?
I mean, as a former quarterback, it's very important because there are days where you're just not having a good day, right? And I was a very emotional guy in terms of being hard on myself. Bad throw. I'm playing it back, trying to figure out how I can make a better throw, and you can't do it. You got to go on to the next play. And this is such a next play league, and you have to recognize that you can't be in your own little bubble, trying to be in your own little funk, because there are other guys that are literally looking at you to see, does he have confidence in himself, and should I have confidence in him as well? And when you step in that huddle, you have those other 10 guys looking at you, and you better have some doggone confidence. And not fake confidence, but actually that carries over into actually positive plays.
Take a look at how many balls can you catch on
Man, you know what?
punt?
Patrick Creighton was probably the best I've ever seen at this.
Yeah,
I saw him catch 8 at once.
Yeah,
he had 8. And it was amazing.
Patrick Creighton, I never understood. I didn't have to do too much punt return, Bill. I was a kick return. Yeah, I did kick return.
Yeah, you don't want me back there at all.
That was another fun thing at training camp, and seeing how and I probably remember that Patrick doing that. Out of DeSoto, Texas. I love Patrick Creighton.
Good dude.
Yeah.
He's still around.
He's still golfing. He's still golfing.
Yeah, he's been very good golfing all the time, for sure.
And there's another one. Came from a small college, 7th-round draft pick.
Absolutely.
And made it in this league and played at a very high level as well. All right, we continue with more of our Cowboys night coverage. One more segment to go with Barry Church and Isaiah Stanback from Ford Center at the Star in Frisco in just a moment. Don't miss your chance to see the Cowboys live against the Giants, Eagles, Raiders, Broncos, and more. They're all coming to Arlington. Get your tickets now at DallasCowboys.com. Great Monday night here at Ford Center at the Star in Frisco. As it is Cowboys night, we're putting the wraps on it here. Had a nice crowd out to welcome the Cowboys back home after more than 3 weeks in Oxnard, California. And a few players still out on the field as things wrap up here tonight. Randy Gregory was one of those guys that was out there late after practice getting some extra work in. And it's good to see Randy participate in this practice. after not making the trip to Arizona with what was described as a foot injury. Looked to be fine tonight.
Oh, yeah, he looked to be in great shape right now. And that's the type of guy that, man, you love the transformation he's made. Because I was there when he first got into the league, and he had some troubles. He was battling his demons. But the way that he's able to hold himself accountable and then take that next level step and become a leader on this team, I mean, it's pretty much remarkable to me. And he's a part of the leadership council. I mean, he's just taking step after step after step, and you just love to see it in a guy like that who never gave up, and he just kept fighting. And the Cowboys organization gave him a chance when people thought, it was over with, and he continued to battle. And look at the man he is now. I mean, you got to be extremely proud of a guy like that.
You also look at it in on the football field, what he can mean to this team this year. And Lawrence is on his way back. Mike McCarthy in his press conference prior to today's practice, as things are looking good as far as his rehab goes. And they just want to get him ready for September 9th. But you put Lawrence on one side, Gregory on the other side, you got the makings of something.
Oh, you got nightmares right there. You got two bookends right there. Who are you going to double? If you add some extra help on to Lawrence, and you leave him Reddy Gregory one-on-one, and the type of bend and speed that this guy has off the edge, it's remarkable. It's remarkable. And he's going against, two of the top tackles in the league, in Lyle Collins and Tyron Smith each and every day. So he's battle-tested, and what he's doing out there in practice is remarkable, and hopefully he can just transfer that into Sundays. But if he's able to do that, I mean, the sky's the limit for the kid.
That's even more reason why you want to shore up that inside interior defensive line, because that's really the only glaring, the quote-unquote weak spot of the defense. No team wants to go against either one of those defensive ends. No team really wants to get up to the second level and face those linebackers. So where do they got to go? They got to punch it right up the middle. So if we can get that locked down, I think this defense is going to be really scary.
And that's the bad thing with Neville Gallimore going down the other day. McCarthy was raving about what he did in the offseason, his work and what he had done in Oxnard, and for him to go down. The amazing thing about it, though, is now you got a 17-game season. And the good news coming off of that with the dislocated elbow is that it looks like after 6 to 8 weeks he will be back. It's a long season. And so the good news is he will be able to get back, looks like maybe in October, and be able to contribute in a big way this year. Can you imagine? I mean, we were talking in the game the other night, Isaiah, about, the Cowboys play the Cardinals on January 2nd. And that's not even the last game of the year. That's the second to last game of the year. That's how long this season is.
We feel like MLB right now.
You got to have depth. You got to have depth.
And also to that point, with the 90-man roster, we talk about these cuts and everything, and with the new rules, now with the COVID rules and stuff as far as a 16-man practice squad, and more importantly, IR, where everybody, it's unlimited. Of course, you have to be on the roster, on the final 53-man roster, but then it's come and go on IR every 3 weeks. And so there's so many guys who will not make the 53-man roster, who will be on that practice squad, who at some point this season will contribute because someone might have a nagging injury. Well, then you call up a guy from the practice squad. Which is so much different than when you were both of you were playing.
Well, you hear it all the time. Coach McCarthy always refers to it. How many players did it take for him to win a Super Bowl? They like 70 or something like that.
With Green Bay, they had so many injuries that year, and they won the Super Bowl. That's right.
He refers to that a lot, right? So you may see that come to fruition this year, right? But the league is obviously making some exceptions that allow for that to be an impact this year.
All right, we're about out of time on this edition of Cowboys Night. And it's been a successful one here at Ford Center at the Star in Frisco. Family night here on Cowboys Night. We appreciate it, Barry Church and Isaiah Standback, and everyone who joined us, including Drew Pearson, Mickey Spagnola, Nate Newton, Nick Eatman, Dave Hellman, and Kyle Yeomans as well. I'm Bill Jones. Thanks for joining us here on Cowboys Night. We'll see you on Saturday night when the Cowboys host the Houston Texans at AT&T Stadium. Have a great night, everybody.